Well, we're live. Welcome to our attempt of a live stream where I've got three technical geniuses right here. And you have myself, who's, well, simple. And these guys know a lot of things. And we're fortunate enough actually to have a live camera here as well to some of the stuff's going on. We're just trying to navigate this feed, but that is Martin. Martin, give us a wave there. Actually, his name's on the screen, so that's Martin. And he set up a dish cam, and we often get seagulls land on his dish, so that proves that the dish does not pick up birds as obstructions. And there's one there, right there. So is that a crow or a seagull?
That's a crow, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be able to test whether live right now whether a crow blocks signal. I very much doubt it will. There's a seagull as well. I mean, this is the ultimate. This is where you need to be. In terms of broadcasts, I can assure you there's no better place to be than right here, right now, watching the live feed of some rain as well. It just gets better by the minute.
It's sleet.
Oh, well, complicated weather conditions too, and birds. What more could you ask for? 10-4 from Matthew Brewer, and we can now show comments, which I love. So if you have got any questions, I think we're currently up to 2.3 million people watching. So please feel free to ask any technical questions, any Starlink related questions, or any ginger hair related questions. I can answer those. The guys will answer the more technical questions. So if you have got any, please feel free to ask, and we will try our best to answer, be it about subscriptions, customer service, technical about routers. Jas and Martin, very good routers. Aaron is good with what's your strong point, Aaron? If you had to sell it, what would it be?
I'm going to say it's now got to be decorating the
routers. We've all got decorated routers. Should we have a show and tell? So I can't get mine to focus, so that's really unfortunate. Bird test, there we go. I think we need Martin to go and throw chips on the roof again. Don't, though. I would not encourage that sort of behavior. There we go. We got a question. Do you guys know how much area one Starlink satellite covers? That's a good question. And I will not know the answer to that, so I'm going to pass it over to this wonderful panel of glorious people.
I'd like to say it's 30 miles. I think it's a 30-mile radius.
So 30 miles. What do you mean by 30 miles? What would that?
So if you have a dish, you are restricted within a 30-mile sort of radius to use your Starlink dish. Outside of the 30 miles, it will not connect because you are locked onto an individual cell.
Mm. What's interesting there is you could be at the top half of a cell, so you could only go, say, 2 miles up and you might lose it, but then you could go 28 miles down and you'd still be okay.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And I think somebody actually drove their car and took their thing for a drive the other day, their dish for a drive. And I mean, that in itself raises issues because the number of people getting them mounted on their chimneys is phenomenal. We know some good installers and some not so good installers. That's not for this. That's not for this conversation right now. But unfortunately, if you've mounted it on your chimney, you can't exactly stick it in your car, can you? That's a real pain in the ass. Hopefully that answered that question for you. Thanks very much for your knowledge there. There's another question here. Anyone know if any cells have opened in the past fortnight? I reckon Aaron might know the answer to that. I think there's a map, actually.
Yeah, there is a map available online so you can see what's open and what's shut. But we don't know if they're open until a user physically goes in and orders it and changes the status of the map itself.
Might be worth us trying to get the link actually and posting that up. Just stick it in the comments section so people can have a look for themselves. Maybe that's the best way to do it. We got a question it's following up about the area. It's asking about the total area that one unit can cover, not considering. All right, so he basically means so you're gonna have to expand that, because I don't really, I still don't understand what that means, unless
So
somebody
the one
else.
thing that we do know at the moment is that they are looking to change the locked status of Starlink satellites so that anybody can use their satellites within the country that they're in, sort of countrywide. I know for a fact that people in Canada have tried to use their Starlink dishes on an RV and move across to the US, and it hasn't worked, but they have updated saying that this is something that they are looking at in the future. So it is going to unlock the potential for people to move anywhere within their country and use it.
I think in terms of what a satellite covers as well depends on the altitude of the satellite itself. So depending on how high or how low it is will affect the coverage that the satellite will give.
So obviously the higher up, you're going to get a greater coverage, but your speed's going to drop. Whereas lower down, you'll get a smaller coverage area, but your speed will increase.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And of course, since they've won that legal battle, they can now start opening up the lower altitudes. It's pretty good. There's a question here. Did we answer this one about the cells? Yeah, we did. So we're gonna post a link. Have you got the web page for that, Aaron, by any chance? Look at those seagulls. They're moving in like beasts. They're gonna land the dish, I'm sure. While this stream's happening, I'm convinced we're gonna get a bird right in a dish. And if Martin drops out, we know that seagulls cause obstructions.
I've had one sat up there for a good 20 minutes, and I haven't been knocked off at all. So
did it not even register as an obstruction?
An obstruction, no.
Oh.
The seagull did grow a third leg, but that's beside the point.
On a serious note, and I will film this, we've had two little birds, and it's just probably a massive coincidence, but start to go a bit mental in the garden, and they keep sitting looking in the wing mirrors of the car, like flying against the car mirror, and it's quite haunting. It reminds a bit like a Stephen King film with these little things just attacking stuff. And I'm gonna have to film it, and I'll try and put it on the next video just to show you. But another question coming in here: anyone know the approximate time from launch to proper spacing on orbit plane? I know roughly, but I'm going to leave this to somebody else that may know properly.
It's about 3 months, I think, from launch to actually when they get operational. It's about 3 months.
Yeah, and I guess so. I had a question when we were talking about the lower orbit. Do you think that they will use the ones that are just slightly higher and just drop them, or does it not work like that? Do you have to launch specific satellites to fly at lower orbit?
No, I think they would be able to drop the ones that are higher up. Don't see any reason why they couldn't do that.
No, they raise and lower them all the time to change their orbital planes, change where they're positioned. So they've got no issues in moving the ones that are currently up there into a new position.
That is interesting. And yes, we should have said that we are live all using Starlink. So if the stream looks good, then this is all Starlink, unless somebody's doing something that we don't know about. But I'm on Starlink. I can confirm.
Yep, same here.
Yep, and me.
Yep.
Very good. Right, here we go. 4 panelists. I'd like 4 panelists to each give their predictions for when Starlink comes out of beta in the UK. Right, so I'm gonna go last on this one, I think. And we'll start at the top, Martin, and work our way down.
End of September.
Yeah, I'm going to say close. I'm going to say November.
And I'm actually going to go slightly different, say at the end of the year.
I'm saying June.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh, optimistic.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be sooner than we think. You know, you got to look at it from the point of view that and I guess maybe from my experience, Starlink has always over-delivered. So you have that email that came out to say it's going to be available in your area in the summer, and then you end up getting it within 5 days of pre-order. You know, so it was so fast. And then the expectations were that, well, you'll only get between 50 and 150 megabits per second. And of course, within a week, I think I'd recorded to 412 megabits per second. And I've just always felt that they give themselves a date, but they're well ahead of that, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm saying so we're like soon. I think sooner rather than later, but I'm going to be wrong. So I'm I'm okay with that. I'm quite happy to have humble pie on that one.
I mean, I
Right, I
think
get some more
with
questions here. Sorry, go on ahead, Jazz.
no, I think with the amount of firmware updates that have been coming out over the last couple of weeks as well, definitely indicates that they are getting ready to do a wider rollout.
Yeah. Right here, so we got another bit here. Also, wanted if wanted to know if there was any other satellite with lasers other than the 10 they launched with Ride Program Share. I do not know the answer to that question. That's going to be, I reckon somebody will know the answer to that.
No, it's just the ones on the ride share that's got the laser links.
Okay. There's Matthew. Yeah, I actually got your email, Matthew. Thank you very much. I have replied to it, but I had a message say it's been held somewhere, so I don't know whether you've got it. Just give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you have got my message that I sent you back. Hopefully you have. Another question here. Do you guys think of changing or trying OneWeb if they offer the same speeds and price? Who said no? Was that Jazz?
No, it was me.
Martin, why?
They don't have any future plans to increase the speeds, and it's just a completely different constellation to how Starlink operate. And not only that, they operate at a much higher altitude, and the current latency is, I think, is about 100 milliseconds between us and the satellite. So it's not worth. I think they are more sort of designed for really rural areas. They are trying to target the research facilities out in Antarctica and stuff like that. They're not really a commercial satellite system yet.
Yeah.
And I can't comment on Amazon either. I think they are about a decade away from any system.
Yeah, I don't even think they've put any satellites up yet, have they?
Not yet.
Going well.
Yeah, it's hard to run an internet service if you haven't got any satellites up.
It does make it tricky. Yeah.
They've only got a certain amount of time left as well to put some satellites up there before their license runs out. I think only a few years away.
What do you think, Aaron? Would you try it? Would you give OneWeb a go, or?
I can't see where the competitive advantage is for us. We've already got great satellite coverage here in the UK now. Like when I go onto OneWeb's constellation online, the current satellites are sitting 1,228 kilometers away. Starlinks are half that distance. So I just can't see how it can be competitive for myself compared to Starlink.
It's a good answer. What about you, Jazz?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there's a long time before they're going to be anywhere close to where Starlink is already. So I just can't see it happening, because I think Starlink would clean up with the majority of people there before maybe have got even close. So I just can't see it being competitive, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and I think I'm not. I have to try not to sound weird here, right? So that's always a good way to start a sentence. But I think because the government have invested in it, I'm a bit like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's whether you prefer a private company just to get on with it or have the government do it. And I don't know. I don't know the whole history of that, but I think they were struggling financially and the government bought them out. Is that right, or is that not right?
Yeah, I think
was it 2 billion?
Yeah, that's a fair bit of money, So technically, we should get it free.
Like if they could half the price of what Starlink are paying, I think they've got viability there.
And then it depends what equipment they've got. You're not going to get your Dezes, are you? You're going to get someone else. And it's not going to be the same. I'm trying to make his eye fall off again. It's just, it's not going to happen, is it? But no, thanks for that. That was a good question. Let's see what else we got here. Do you think the latitude of the UK is a sweet spot and will ultimately lead to slightly faster speeds than other parts of the world? I think that's a really good question, actually, because if you look at the feedback from other countries, they seem to be sometimes 200 megabits per second slower than we are. So what are your thoughts on that, guys?
I was just trying to think of where it starts and ends. I think they were saying that between northern Germany and below a certain area, I can't remember where it was, but that seems to be the best location to get a decent connection.
So that would put us in that, would it?
Yeah.
Like if you head on to satellite-map.space, you'll see the orbital planes that Starlink is traveling on. And where the UK is, it's almost like a congested area where they all come together. And it's the same down in New Zealand where they recently launched. All the satellites come together down there on their orbital plane. So it's going to give us really good, dense coverage of satellites.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely seem to get faster speed, and I think there was one other Reddit post that said he had a 400 megabits per second test, and that was quite a while ago. But I never got the location of that. I have a feeling it wasn't the US. I think it was probably was that another European one? I can't really remember. And as we speak, there's a pigeon just landed on the roof. So it's not my roof for those that have just joined the stream. That is Martin's roof, one of our guests today, and we're seeing if we can get a bird to land on the dish behind Martin's chimney. Is very old property, English seaside. The seaside, obviously, because you get loads of seagulls down there, but the seagulls down there are pretty darn big. That was one just flew past, looked like
we literally step outside our front door and it takes us about a minute to get to the beach. And the house is 150 years old, so it's quite old.
Yeah. And the seagulls love it. There's a nest to the right. We've seen that in action before. And actually, his neighbor has a damaged aerial from the birds. We believe birds have attacked the aerial. We want them to attack Martin's Starlink dish so we can get some live destruction of his internet. And you'll see it happening because he will go offline and the bird will just be on the dish. And it'll be glorious TV right there. Not good for Martin. He's not happy with that. Oh dear. So there's Matthew saying he agrees by the sweet spot. The question
I think
here,
I've had 400. I've hit 400 a couple of times with mine, but not since.
we're saying that you on the Discord channel, which we can share a link if anybody has any questions and they have any follow up or they're watching this afterwards. If you get this far into it, we can share the Discord channel in the chat, and there's a lot of people in there who are very interested in networking and various other things. So it's a good place to be, good place to hang out. A lot of nice people on there as well. That's a question there. I can answer this one. Do you still get firmware updates when you use third party routers? Yes, you do. The dish just updates itself. Actually, we're waiting for. There's a new firmware update has come out since yesterday's video. And we're looking forward to testing that to see how it goes. So yeah, you don't need to worry about using the Starlink router in terms of updates for your dish. It happens regardless of what you get plugged in. So and actually, the guys in here have different routers than I have. And please feel free to share your experience of what your router is and how that's working for you on Starlink. So we'll go over to Martin.
Sorry. Yeah, so I'm using Ubiquiti equipment at the minute. So at the minute, I'm just using the USG P3 currently, which is like a tiny little security gateway, and that just plugs straight into the back from the dish via Ethernet, and that does the whole house. So I use these. I don't know if you can see them. The little.
Oh, I see it on the roof.
Little APs. They're dotted around the house, and that gives me my Wi-Fi connections, and they perform really well.
So are they dual band, or am I talking consumer level here?
Yeah, so they do both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. They go up to AC, I believe.
Okay, thank you for that, Martin. And what about yourself, Aaron? What are you rocking in your house?
So I'm using the same company, Ubiquiti, but I'm using the Dream Machine Pro. Just found it gave me quite good functionality for what I want. And same as Martin, I've got, if I move the camera around, access point from Ubiquiti up in the corner there. And another one downstairs to give good coverage. And mainly, it's nice to initially have the failover port on there so I can plug in Sky and Starlink just in case one of them dropped, the other one could kick in. But I think stability's got to that point now where I ripped it out a couple of weeks ago and they've cancelled my main provider and just solely now on Starlink.
Yeah, that's a big step to take. I'm not quite there yet. I still have my other one. I haven't used it, but I'm tempted to do it, you know, but I don't know. I've had no outages. The only outages I've had over the last 24 hours have been ones that I've been messing about, like stowing it and shutting it down. Martin encouraged me to turn it off 5 minutes earlier to try and get the firmware update, and that never got it. So that was yeah. But I'm just not there yet to make that commitment to shut down my previous ISP and have that one. But yeah. So what about yourself, Jas? What are you doing? What are you rocking there?
Yeah, pretty similar to everybody else, really. I'm on Ubiquiti as well, and I've got the USG Pro for the gateway, and that's what the Starlink plugs direct into, and then it goes out to there's about 6 different access points, and they're all Wi-Fi 6. So yeah, been really good.
It's going nice for you. Nice one. Right, let's crack on with some of these questions. We're getting quite a few come in here. So this one here, do you know how far north the sweet spot might reach? Would Northern Ireland be covered? I don't know. It's a really good question. So Scotland's not covered yet, is it? Or is it?
Not massively. I think it should cover Northern Ireland, but I don't think Scotland's covered at the minute.
I'm just looking on sat maps now, and sort of half of Scotland is covered. At the moment, it's showing full Northern Ireland coverage in terms of the satellites passing over.
Yeah. I guess the best way to check is through your postcode and see what pops up. And also, I think we just had a massive outage on my end, so
you did disappear.
Sorry about that. I didn't go anywhere. It was my network. I might try and bring up my stats page so people can see what that looks like. So I'm gonna just quickly, if we could jump on to the next question while I mess about there. Actually,
just before we move on, I've just had a look at the Starlink beta cell map, and there is actually one cell open in Northern Ireland now. So I think we have an active user in Northern Ireland already.
Oh wow! So yeah, hopefully that answers. Thank you very much for that. So we're going to quickly jump. I think it's more a point. Starlink is hiring a sales position in the USA. especially selling to government entities. So obviously trying to expand commercial. I mean, that's where the money is, right? You know, you gotta get in there, especially going to try and network and overcome 5G and various things. Who knows what they're going to do, right? Well, I'm going to jump on to the next question, and I want to try and bring up my stats page while you guys have a look at this. Hopefully you can see it on screen. Can you see that, guys?
Yeah, we can see that.
Not yet.
Right, I'm gonna read it. Then I'm gonna go quiet while you guys answer it. So, do you think all UK cells would have to be activated and tested before Starlink comes out of beta in the UK?
I don't think they would, because we kind of already know that these sats are working. They're fine. I don't think there would be a need to test every individual cell. I think they would flip the switch and things will go live. I don't think you'd need to test each cell at all.
But it's almost the same. I think the beta piece is more about making sure they've got enough ground stations in place, they've got the infrastructure in place, the stability of the connections is there for the users. There's not massive chunks of no satellites or beta downtime there. I think that's what they need to focus on for it to come out of the beta stage.
I think we know as well that we've got, is it 1,500 UK users at the moment? So I think, you know, they've got plenty of information from a lot of people to show how reliable the system is at the moment.
Yeah. It's hard to know, isn't it? Like, what it depends what their threshold is for. They must have a roadmap in terms of we are finishing the beta once we get here, but unless we ask that question specifically to customer service and they give us the answer, which they won't do, then we're never going to know. It's going to be one morning we'll wake up and there'll be a headline that they've come out of beta and you can fill order wherever. But I would imagine you can't go full service unless all your cells are open, surely, or can you? Well, then saying that, a normal ISP would still offer a full service, and they might not cover everywhere. So why would Starlink be any different?
I think you've hit the
I
nail
think
on
a
the
lot
head.
of it comes.
Sorry, Jason, where you go?
Wasn't me. I think it was Martin.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, like, you know, I don't get Virgin Media here, but Virgin Media isn't a beta product.
Yeah.
I think one of the other aspects of it as well would be the cost. You know, not everybody can afford to shell out, you know, £600 in total for a month upfront and equipment. So there is that aspect of it as well.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. And I think that's why, and we discussed this before, but I think that's why people are pulling out of pre-orders in the UK. Uncertainty over COVID and all the other stuff going on and work, and it's a lot of money, you know, 500 quid up front.
But on that point of being £500 up front, when I spoke to them the other day, I sort of asked them about, are they going to get involved with the gigabit voucher program from the government? And all their reply back was, we're aiming for stability at the moment. So I'm hoping that gives a little bit of hope they know about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. And just before we jump on to the next question, so the reason I put the statistics up there is because you may have noticed that I had a bit of a crap out about 5 minutes ago and nothing showed up. So it could have been something else, but I can't see anything on there that's registered as a. It might have been where that little SNR is, but surely it wouldn't drop your broadcasts or your network with that, would it? Be very surprised. Anyway,
I think I had an SNR drop to 6 for quite a while earlier, and my connection was fine.
Staying up. Right, let's jump on to the questions. Let's get back onto Martin's bird cam. Right, here's a question here. So do you guys know why the upload speed is quite lower than the download? Is the upload going to be 100 to 400?
We don't actually know.
They have never hinted towards it, have they?
Not
All
really.
we
No,
keep getting
it's. Sorry, Martin. Go on.
No, just saying. All we keep getting is that they're working on it. I know when I've submitted tickets asking about upload speeds, it's something that they're looking at, but they can't give us a definite date or time frame as to when. I think they're just trying to focus on getting the jitter, the ping right, the download speeds correct before they attempt to look at upload.
I think you're right there.
Sorry, Aaron, go on.
When you look at the latency in the statistics, as soon as you start uploading, the latency starts to climb up bit by bit by bit, but it doesn't do that on your download. So I think that they're balancing out that stability and latency against what upload they're giving you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, historically, before sort of the semi-modern internet, satellite internet providers came around, it used to be the case that you could download from the sat, but you couldn't upload. So you had to have basically like a dial-up system to be able to just for upload. And that was quite a few years ago now. But yeah, I think the upload side on a satellite internet provider is quite a lot more difficult than it is on the download. Because obviously you've got a much more powerful system up there beaming it down, but getting it back up again, I think is quite difficult.
Yeah, this may be a case of this may be linked more with the ground stations, because obviously if you're uploading, the ground stations are responsible for pinging that up to the satellites and back down again. So I think until they get more clearance on installing more ground stations, I think upload is probably a future roadmap for Starlink.
Yeah, no, I think as well. There's no, I've always, and I don't know you will probably know the technical ins and outs of this, but it always seems that upload is such a contentious issue. It seems to be so much harder to attain good upload or match download speed. You don't have, say, a 500 up, 500 down. It's very rare. So there's obviously something a bit more to it. It's more complicated, I think, upload.
I think you need it more for gaming and streaming. I think that's the two big ones that you need upload for. Honestly, I think once they start putting more satellites into lower orbit, that might all change. We might see increased speeds with upload.
Yeah. It's quite exciting. I think did you hit 60 yesterday, Martin?
Well, I have hit 60 before, but my average is between 30 and 40.
Yeah. And I think whenever we had that really weird day where the app was showing up some weird stats, I think I had 85 upload. Now, I'm not going to claim that was right, but I think that may have just been a bug. And I do have a screenshot of that. I'm not making it up. And if I was better on this live stream, I would probably share that with you as I said that, but I wasn't prepared for that. So I'm gonna jump on another question here. It's again about price in there. I'm not really sure. Westel, if you've got a question on that, go ahead and feel free to ask. Is it more just a point? I mean, I don't know their finances, but I think they're doing all right. And I think that even if it's expensive, they're going to come good, because ultimately they fly their own rockets up, launch the satellites, come back down again. So the running costs, I shouldn't imagine they can pay for fairly quick.
Yeah, the cost of the equipment at the moment, obviously SpaceX are running at a loss. It's costing them more to make the dishes than they are selling them. So the way that Elon Musk and Starlink are looking at this is that in the long-term future, once millions of people have signed up to the service, they will be making a lot more money from the service than they will the equipment. And they are hoping that they are going to be able to fund their journey to Mars with the Starlink income that they're getting. So there's no worry about bankruptcy.
No, I think they're going to do all right. This is a question we know the answer to because we did talk about this earlier on the Discord channel, and that was how many ground stations are there in the UK?
There are 3.
Yeah, down at Goonhilly, somewhere. I can't remember Isle of Man. Where's the third one? I can't remember the name of it.
Near Pixel, I think.
And that certainly
I
makes
think
a
that was
difference.
so close to you.
Gerrard's Cross, that's where it is. Just
Yeah.
outside.
I remember. Yeah. There's Lockley on the stream. Hello and welcome. Lockley is on our Discord channel, and he's also got an interesting video about cleaning sewer pipes. So I have watched it. I've watched it twice. So yeah, that was good. That was good fun. It did make me laugh. He's a good guy. So yeah, I think this is pretty. This is people are asking about what is the stream. Well, this is a stream that happened by accident. Actually, we were looking at doing some stuff and trying to set up something for the future where we maybe have a live broadcast to show how stable or unstable Starlink is. It turns out it's pretty stable at the minute because we're all on a different Starlink system. And we were thinking about doing another launch, maybe having some people here watching it, on the YouTube feed from the live launch, the official channel this time. Not going to try and spam off any nonsense like I did. Didn't know. Going to call naive on that last one. But we accidentally clicked live and people were waiting. They wanted we had a queue of people wanting to come in and watch, so we just went for it. So it is a very spontaneous Q&A session. So if you have got a question, please do ask Starlink related or rash. Jace is very good with spontaneous rashes, so feel free to ask them about itchiness.
If it's there, I'll answer questions on it.
so yeah. Right. So Martin, also the random, in case you just joined us, the random video in the middle is Martin's roof. That is the dish cam, and we see many animals on his roof. So random animals, cats, wildlife, like I don't know, ferrets,
kangaroos,
such like kangaroos. It's more the birds. So he has large birds down there, and I don't mean big women or anything like that. I don't want to sound like that. It's such things like seagulls or that sounds like the police are coming for somebody. So
No,
seagulls.
my son's wandering around. He's just woke up from his nap.
Oh, I mean that's the way forward, having an afternoon nap. And also on a serious note about Starlink on us live stream at the minute, we've got gale force winds outside, and across the whole of the UK, I think you guys are in the same position where weather is particularly bad at the minute. So we're able to see how things are holding up in bad weather. I mean, the only time I've really experienced a full outage was when we had that really odd thunder snow event where there was thunder, lightning, and snow at the same time. So yeah, what's the weather like where you guys are? This is very British. So yeah, is it?
I mean, I should be able to offer you a live view for you to have a look if we can see out the window.
Yes.
Well, it's going to actually come out, but
it's pretty horrible. That is pretty windy. Is your dishes in your garden as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you should be able to hopefully see it on the camera there. Don't know how well it's coming out because I can't see the screen.
You don't register any obstructions, do you?
No, nothing at all.
Have you got it weighed down in the weather?
No, I haven't at the minute. It's literally just on the tripod.
I think the worst of the wind is going to be tomorrow for us. We haven't experienced bad wind yet, but I think it's on its way.
Maybe that's something we can do. We can plan in when it is going to be particularly bad, and we can have a bad weather cam.
Sounds good.
Just to show how bad the weather is and see, just talk nonsense. Maybe tell each other some jokes. See who laughs first. I don't know. But just to see how Starlink copes in bad weather, because if you're in a remote area, then I think that's a reality. You want to make sure that you can have solid internet during bad weather. I mean, we're not massively remote here, but we certainly have a lot of wind. As Jazzy just said, it's 40 degrees in Pakistan. Well, it's about 7 here. So yeah, enjoy your 40 degrees, man.
Yeah.
Very lucky, very fortunate. For somebody like myself, he's very ginger. That's a bad thing. I burn like a vampire. It's not good. Right, I'm going to leave it open for a couple more minutes. There's a couple of new people just joined there. If you get any questions, please feel free to ask, and we will try our best to answer them for you.
There is a little bit of a wobble going on with the old dish at the moment. I think it's on the bracket from the pole going into the tripod mount. There's a little bit of play there, so it is having a little bit of a wobble, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the connection at all.
No,
See,
you
I
guys
think
look
I'll
pretty
be all
solid.
right. I think because I've got the volcano mount, so that is pretty short from dish to the cheese. So I don't expect it to wobble too much at all.
So the volcano mount, that's the one that just goes onto the. Is it like a flat one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a flat bottom with like a stump where it just slots into. I mean, I've seen some of the setups on Facebook, and some people have got their poles like 100 foot in the air. I mean, I don't quite understand the logic as to why they're so high up on some of them. I think we were discussing this on the Discord the other day, like we were comparing some of the pictures.
Yeah, we need to have a bad install session. So we put up some of the worst installs or an install fail video. I think that could be quite good. Preferably not getting your installer falling off the roof. That's never a good thing. Although I think it's maybe happened once or twice. No names, no names. Not fair. I'm not. It's on my channel. I don't want any liable claims. I know who you're thinking. Right. So maybe put some tape on the pole. It helps. No, to be fair, these things are pretty firm, and the stand that it comes in is pretty good actually. And I think it has. You can screw the stand down if you need to, can't you?
Yeah, there's sort of holes in each of the legs that you can screw it down if you need to.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I feel that was a fairly successful, spontaneous live stream. Random as you like. There's no structure, no planning. It was a case of me accidentally pressing a button, and we're all live on YouTube. So thank you for the 4 million that joined in and all your questions and information overload. If you have got any more, please do visit the Discord channel or wait until we go live again, which I'm sure will be very soon. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you from myself and the team. And Martin's 2-year-old son, who's just had a nap. Good on him. If I could have a nap this time of day, I'd certainly be having one. So for me and the team, farewell. Whatever you do the rest of the day, have a good one. And I will catch you later.